Life in Christ is good. Christ loves you all. You are creation 13. I'm Ambassador of Starseed. And today I'm going to title this video Humans Fear Love. Humans Fear Love. And the point I'm making this video is, I've noticed that people, that humans don't grasp what love is. Love is surrounded, from a human perception, love is surrounded by ego, by people's personal tastes and interests, and it totally throws out what love is really about. And love is really about the soul, not about the spirit, but the soul. And I've talked about this before, and how spirit represents breath, represents energy, represents synergy. But the soul is never mentioned. Your very core, your very essence is your soul. That is what's real, and that is what is you, is your soul. And that's something that it always seems to get overlooked. I actually wrote down something here. I actually posted it on Facebook. But basically, I was just, expressing that humans just don't understand what love is. They don't. And, no matter how many conversations or talks you have with people, their ego and their personal views of things always get in the way. Especially with religion, or with people's personal I want to say fetishes, but just they're trying to be God. They're trying to be God, basically. They're trying to view things on what they think or perceive it to be God. Oh, God said that this would be good. God said this would be okay. That's another video, but it's probably gonna end up being talked about in this one anyways. Let's see here. It's in here somewhere. There we go. Alright, so this is what I wrote. The greatest respect, the greatest aspect you can give yourself is learning to truly, honestly learn to love yourself. And the love I talk about is not ego or your perceived personality. It's the love that lives within you. That love lives within your center of your being. And that love is your soul. Humans always overlook the soul. The kingdom of heaven lives within you, they say. Many people say this. The answer is simple. It's your life essence. Your soul is the true you. Your soul is the true you. The love you continue to look for is your soul. Discover what true love is. Pray or meditate today to discover what true love is. And that's what I wrote. And that really sparked a lot of what humans lack for themselves, or what humans, they don't feel worthy that they can discover this love. Like I said, they always say, well, I'm happy with my life, that I like living this way. They're expressing their personality and ego, and they're totally missing the whole point of what your existence is, why you're here in the first place. You're here to learn, you're here to grow, but you're not here to just create a life from your imagination, and from your personal viewpoints. That's not what this whole life thing is about. This whole life thing is to experience this and see if you'll still remember the core you, the real you, the true essence of you. Are you going to fall for all of this illusion here and lose touch with your true essence, which is your soul? Your soul is always here. It always is. And even if we use the term unlocking your soul, we use that, at least I use that, to help you remember your soul. The reason why you're unlocking is because you have locked your soul away. You have locked your soul in a cell, um, and it wants to break out, but it can't because you have put so many images and false images of a god into your life. And like I said, I'm probably gonna end up bringing this up anyways. But people use so many excuses on what they perceive God to be. Um, and they fill in the gaps of saying, oh, well, God would say this is good, God would say this is good. This brings up the video previously about the mark of Cain, and how Cain basically created his own set of rules and laws and expressed himself as a god. They made idols and images and so on and so forth, just like we have right now. Like I said, we live in Sodom and Gomorrah right now. So many people are creating many false gods, and humans fail to realize what that represents. It says in the Bible there will be many false gods created. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to create an idol, hence Jesus' character, or Mary, or whatever. Those are idols already. But false gods can be your own personal savior. Because you're living by, like I said, you're living by your heart, you're living by your mind of what you're creating. You're living by feelings. And that totally goes against your soul. Because your soul essence doesn't desire any of these things. That's part of this physical experience, is to put yourself to the test, to put yourself through judgment on can you surpass and overlook the illusions that are created surrounding you. And this comes across in many things. Mainly the things that really overshadow the soul, that keep your soul trapped, is religion, and sexual practices. Becoming lustful, experimenting with sex. Sexual nature, male with male, female with female, so on and so forth. They are lustful things that the mind and the heart play with, and they want to experience. The ego wants to experience that, but your soul has no desire for it. So therefore, you feed that demon, you feed that devil within you. And what does that mean? What does that represent? Demon, devil, Satan is your created God. You can view life that you are the perceived God of your path. But that's only based on the ego and personality that you give yourself. Society has built you regardless. Society has built you, especially if you went to, the public schools and all their training and stuff like that. I was taught a little differently. I was homeschooled, so my life was a lot different than the normal people. But the point being is, you are created by the God of this world, which is Satan, so on and so forth. The Satan essence has entrapped your soul here and is keeping you entertained based on your own ego and personality. And I hope that makes sense. But basically, the whole essence, the whole core of learning to love yourself is tapping deep within your soul essence, looking past your personality, looking past your ego, looking past your belief structure. Because remember, there's no such thing as beliefs. Beliefs are blind faith. Um, and, that brings up another thing is blind faith. A lot of people, this is why so many people fall victim into these God aspects, um, is because of blind faith. No one can see nor hear what is really going on. So people create these ideas, that God would say this is okay, God would say this is okay. We have the Bible here, the American Bible, and it tells you specifically on certain things that you should pay attention to. And it's always overlooked. Things are overwritten or written over, and blah blah blah. Look at the amendments, for example. I was reading the amendments of America, and they were good at first, but then they would create another amendment that would rewrite the previous amendment, so on and so forth. So then, when you're going through all the amendments, I hope that's the right word. You have to really pay attention to what you're reading, because if you argue with an authority saying, well, hey, my amendment here says this, but they'll say, well, if you read down at this one, this says this, so this overthrows the one that was up here, so therefore the law is correct and you are wrong. So it basically, you have to look at it like that. And this is where your own personal judgment comes into play, because you'll be judged by everything you do. Your personality and your ego is what's being recorded. Your own personal God is what's being recorded. Are you following the rules and laws of the soul that are connected to the universal God? Or are you just following the earth God and humans' perception of what the unseen is, or what the unseen is being ran by? You really have to dig deep into this stuff. And humans, I don't know if humans are ever going to really get that idea, and that's why so many humans are trapped here, because they can't look past life. They can't look past their perceived happiness or their perceived depression. They can't look past it. They bury their own cell structure. So as happy as you can be in life does not mean that you are free. That the chains have bound your soul here on earth. That doesn't mean you're free. That's something you have to discover for yourself. Like I said, there's so many structures and things, and there's so many things that are, like I said, this whole new age stuff is just, it's so stupid. It really is. And it's just another entrapment that humans have created for themselves into making them look away from the soul. They created this Christ consciousness thing, which is just keeping you further away from your soul. It really is. And like I've talked about, when you leave your body, you leave through here and you shoot out. And that's it. So that's where people are so focusing on the third eye, the first eye, that they lose track of your soul. You don't want to just go and leave your body so fast. You're totally missing the point of why you're here. So yeah, You know, it's so deep. You know, loving yourself, truly loving yourself, is, you know, discovering your soul. And the reason why I put praying and meditating in there to discover your soul is honestly that's the only way you're going to discover your soul. Because if you truly do it right, you truly pray or meditate, because I've done both. Like I said, I was born in a Christian home, so I prayed a lot. So I know what praying is, and I know that when I was learning about meditation, because I started meditation early, but I never really understood it. But meditation and praying are the exact same thing. It gets you into that state where you shut things out, you turn off all of this illusion that surrounds you, and you become part in the darkness that you see. You know, because when you close your eyes and you see the darkness, you remember the womb that you came from. You know, you were in a womb, and this returns you to that womb state before all of these illusions was created. And this brings you back into the state of you, which is your true essence, which is your soul. This dives you back into your soul. Praying and meditating puts you back into your soul state, and that's where you want to be. And this is where so many people get afraid of, and like I said, again, this whole New Age stuff is just, it's frustrating. It really is. But when you look deep within your soul, you know, there is no manual on what you're going to experience. And, you know, I made videos trying to help people, but I think I'm going to have to, like, write a book or something to explain on what you go through getting back into your soul. Because, like, with me personally, you'll have the most awesomest experience you'll ever have. If you truly tap into your soul, you will feel the love that you are missing in your life. You will. You will discover it, and you will have a glimpse of it. And if your visuals are on, you will visually see how you're connected with everything. And this is where the spirit comes into play, because spirit is little microcosmic energies that are connected to a bigger energy source, and you'll realize that you want to connect with all of it. And that's where you'll learn what true love is. But after you go through that, at least that's what I experienced, you start going through and opening doorways, the many doorways that your ego and personality has created for itself. So this is where a lot of fear comes in, because people think, oh my gosh, I'm going through hell right now. This is the embodiment of hell. Demons are taking control of me, so on and so forth. It's because that's what you created for yourself. If you have the slightest bit of fear, the slightest bit of doubt, or anything of that nature, creates a perceived demon in your being. So you're going to have to fight off those demons. And also your personality comes into play. So the demons are smart. So they know on how to persuade you into that fear technique, or persuade you into more of the illusions. Hence where angels and stuff come into play. It's a whole different aspect when you discover your soul. And there's so many layers you have to learn and conquer to move up, or to unlock more and more of the doors to allow your soul to be free from the cell that it was trapped in. It's very deep. It really is. And that's pretty much about it. I mean, I could keep talking about just how deep the soul is. You know, it's not the fact of, like with religion, must be saying too much. It's not the fact that religion tells you, oh, just give your life to Jesus character and you'll be alright. No, it's not. Because you're still living and experiencing this world. You're totally overlooking your soul. You're allowing this Jesus character to take your soul. And I want to get back into that again. I've talked about this many times already. But you are in charge of your soul. But the only way you can be in charge is if you take control of your soul again. And that's unlocking your soul. If you stay entrapped in your personality, your ego, your own personal Godhead, or your own personal God that you created for yourself, that you perceive that God says that this is okay and this is not okay and this is okay. You basically are also becoming your own personal judge of okay, this is okay, you're not right, and blah 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 blah. You create your own personal God and you create your own judgment upon people. And it's hard. It really is hard not to judge others, especially when people are treating people badly. You know that it's wrong, and you really want to help that person real bad. You really do. You know, if you become aware that that children are being mistreated, or a wife or a husband's being mistreated, it breaks your heart, and you really want to make a difference, but sometimes there's nothing you can do, and it's really hard. And for me personally, it's really hard. And that judgment comes into play because I am making a judgment call, that is not right. That is not right. And it's something that and it's hard for me. I really try not to judge anybody, but when I see someone getting hurt like that, or animals being abused, something like that, it really hurts me, and it makes you feel kind of helpless because you try to get other people become aware of what's going on, and they want no part of it because they don't want it to affect their lives. So it becomes even more frustrating. Um, and this is where you really, really have to watch what you do, how you create things, and listen to your soul. Because, like I said, if you let your ego or your personality get the best of you, you could go on and make a judgment call, do something irrational, and then it just ends up getting you in trouble, and then they're still fine and they can still do the awful things that they're doing. Um, so it really is hard to make certain decisions without judging. Um, but I think to me personally that is a good judgment call. But a bad judgment call, I would say, is when someone says that their religion is true, the other religion is wrong. Um, Saying that same-sex marriage is right when others say it's wrong. Those kind of judgment calls are personality, ego-based. It's their own personal God-based scenarios that go against the soul. If they're listening to their soul, they will not have those kind of arguments in the first place. And like I said, that's what true love is learning to throw away your personality and ego and live by your soul. Are you strong enough to do that? Are you strong enough to do that? To throw away your personality and soul to discover what love is? Because to get rid of your personality and ego allows you to get rid of your illnesses, your depression, as well as personality disorders, or being too happy too. because there is a thing of being too happy or too mellow, and it causes judgment upon yourself, and you end up getting trapped in that kind of personality and ego. So when you throw personality and ego out the window, this is where humans cannot grasp this concept. They can't even fathom what that is. They can't even fathom what that soul essence is. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it on that. So feel free to watch this video again. Yeah, only you can discover what true love is, and that is your soul essence. Until you discover your soul essence, you're going to continue to live in your own personality and ego godhead. And it's just a simple fact, is that you are creating your own God, and you're creating your own belief structures, faith structures, and putting words in the creator's mouths. That's a simple fact. You're putting words in the creator's mouths that was not said. And therefore that creates a gossiper. And it says in the Bible too, beware of gossipers, because there is many. There is many. Those who live by the soul will not spread gossip, will not spread riots, and they will not spread pacts that go against the law. Okay. And what I mean by against the law, basically when people create riots and take a stand, they are breaking the laws. You got to be very strategic on what you create and do. You know, there's a law here. There's a law in the United States. There's a law in England. There's a law in Canada. There's laws. So if you want to make change in the world, you got to follow by the laws and read the laws, because like I said, you know, amendments change, laws change. But if you read the laws very thoroughly, you will learn on how to make a difference without breaking the laws. And that's something I'll have you think about as well. So yeah, learn what true love is, which is your soul. Going to discover your soul is going back into the darkness. Close your eyes. Pray, meditate, discover what your soul is. Unlock your soul, and then you'll understand and know what love is and what true freedom is all about. So, talk to you in a little bit. Got any questions, let me know. I love you all. For goodness sakes, love yourself and discover your soul. Talk to you in a little bit.